All right, welcome everybody around the world, and welcome to all my subscribers. I sit here before you today. I'm not standing, but I sit here before you today in shock that suddenly today I have seen the video footage of it, the reports of it. There are UFOs appearing around the world. They have been for the last 2 weeks, but even as of today, in numerous places all around the world, fully visible to many people in the public, catching it all on video. Lots of UFOs everywhere. Okay. I'm sure the media is doing their part to help stifle this. But all I can say is I warned everybody. And this is so beautifully ironic because yesterday, after teaching about the imminent end days for 8 years on YouTube, after having my book published, after making hundreds of videos on this over these 8 years, I decided last night to make a video saying that I don't think it's going to happen in 2024 anymore. I felt bad doing that, but I thought I should. I gave up part of my hope that it would happen, but I did in that video testify that the prophecies still speak for themselves and the end must be imminent. Can you make this stuff up the very next day? I see all these reports, all these footages. UFOs are appearing around the world. Yes, they're not coming down real large ones right over cities, but they are everywhere, over cities, over countries, many different places. People are seeing them. People are recording them. And there's a lot in my mind to say, but I just want to tell everybody this. I'm quite old now, and in my whole lifetime, growing up for the first few decades, people didn't see UFOs. They're a very rare occurrence. It's only in these last few years that UFOs started appearing around the world more often and getting caught on footage, but it's only in the last few weeks that this activity has picked up dramatically. Like I said, I can't even make this up that today I suddenly see reports of all these ones appearing around the world. Now, I have spoken on that topic and why it's related to the end of days many times before. I don't think I have time to get deep into that now. All I can say is that it's like God was watching. He's always watching. He probably saw me make that video yesterday and felt disheartened that I shared that message that it's probably not going to happen in 2024, I feel. And he probably wanted to give us all a jolt of electricity to get us standing back to attention. And now I feel that I shouldn't have made that video and I should just keep warning everybody because right now, and I don't care what anybody else thinks, if you don't get on this bandwagon, it may be too late for you. I've been warning everybody, and it could very well happen now. There's more reason right now, as of this day, to believe that the end is imminent more than ever before. In all the last years, in the last 2,000 years, we have more reason to believe that it will happen imminently. Okay? So if you haven't reformed, this is the most important thing. The most important thing isn't when the end happens, is are you ready for it? Are you ready? Because if you ain't worthy, you're not going up. If you're not worthy, you're going to be stuck down here during all those terrible things that are coming. So the only way you're going to go up is if you reform from your sin. I don't have time to get into those teachings today. They're all on my channel. They're in my systematic theology. Probably not even time to get the books anymore. I don't know. All I can say is be on high alert. That's all I could say, because based on what I've seen today in these footages, it could be imminent. I'm not going to put a day or a date on it, but you got more reason to believe that it's imminent right now than ever before. So I got a bunch of verses, and the amazing thing, what made me think of this, to do this video and everything, is, besides seeing the footages and the reports, is I suddenly got this random inspiration in my head. After seeing the reports, this verse popped into my head that the day of the Lord does not come with observance. Because I was thinking of the irony that just yesterday I'm saying, oh, it's probably not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen in 2024 anymore. Maybe in the next few years or whatever, right? After being on such a high roll for 8 years teaching that it is going to be in 2024. And then all of a sudden, today, so suddenly, there's this imminence to everything. And that verse just popped right into my head. So I looked up that verse, and half of the entire chapter is highly pertinent to the imminence of the end days. So I'm going to read those verses, and all I can say is get ready, folks. You better reform. Don't matter what your church has been teaching you. I'm telling you, I don't care what your church has been teaching you. You better go out and reform, right? You better reform right now. That's all I could say in case this happens. Don't let some church minister tell you that you are saved because of this and that there. Go out and do what the Bible says and reform from your sin in order to be saved. Don't say I didn't warn you. I've been warning everybody and teaching for 8 years. Very few have listened. So these are the verses that I want to read very quickly. Luke 17 is the primary chapter I'm going to read from. That's towards the end of this. I just got 3 short verses to read first, 3 or 4 short verses to read first to introduce it. So in Luke 19:11, this is all pertaining to the arrival of Jesus and the sudden arrival of the end days. So in Luke 19:11, it says, "And while they are hearing these things, having added, he, Jesus, spake a simile because of his being nigh to Jerusalem, and of their thinking that the reign of God is about presently to be made manifest." And I start with that verse because when Jesus was here teaching everybody, doing his miracles, his disciples and everybody thought that the end of days would come then. They even asked Jesus in another verse, "Are you going to restore the reign to Israel now?" And Jesus said, "That's not for you to know." So my next verse in Revelation 12:10, this verse affirms when the reign of God does come. It doesn't come when Jesus was on the earth. It comes at the end of days. Here's a piece of proof. "And I heard a great voice saying in that," this Revelation 12:10, at the end of days. "And I heard a great voice saying in the heaven, now did come the salvation." Now, at the end of days, did come the salvation and the power and the reign of our God and the authority of his Christ, because cast down was the accuser of our brethren, who is accusing them before our God day and night. And in Luke 21:29, this is a verse I've spoken about before. I think very few people at all have figured this one out, but the fig tree in the Bible refers to Israel. I double checked this with all the occurrences of the term fig tree, and so forth. And in this verse here, Jesus reveals that when Israel is reborn as a nation, that the end of days is imminent. It's nigh and at the doors. Israel was reborn in 1948, which is a key year in the prophecies that reveal 2024 as the end. All right. So in Luke 21:29, and he, Jesus, spake a simile to them. See the fig tree, Israel, and all the trees, when they may now cast forth, which means bearing new shoots, new leaves. There's parallels of this verse. And it says, having seen of yourselves, ye know that now is the summer nigh. So also ye, when ye may see these things happening, ye know that near is the reign of God. It's actually not the verse I was thinking of, but in the parallel verse, which I don't have ready right now, it says, when you see new shoots appearing on the fig tree, that he is nigh and at the door. Like I said, that was 1948. Next, quick verse in Luke 21:34, it says, and take heed to yourselves, lest your hearts be weighed down with surfeiting, whatever that is, and drunkenness and anxieties of life. And suddenly, key term, suddenly, that day may come on you. For as a snare, like a bear trap, snare, all snares operate very suddenly. It shall come on all those dwelling on the face of all the land. Watch ye, another key term I've always said, watch ye then in every season, praying that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things are about to come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. So just a quick little selection of verses. There's many more that prove this. But the reign of God did not come when Jesus was on the earth. It didn't come at his resurrection. It occurs at the end of days. Okay? And the end of days arrival will be sudden. Okay? It's like lightning. So this is the key verse here. In Luke 17:11, it says, and it came to pass in his going on to Jerusalem that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee, and he entering into a certain village, there met him 10 leprous men who stood afar off. And they lifted up the voice, saying, Jesus, Master, deal kindly with us. Now I believe, because it's so similar to his other actual parables that he gave, that this represents the people of God, whether Jewish, Christian, just Christian, whatever it might be, but the people of God, right? And he says, and they said, Jesus, Master, deal kindly with us. And having seen them, he said to them, having gone on, show yourselves to the priest. And it came to pass, in their going, they were cleansed. And one of them, having seen that he was healed, did turn back with a loud voice, glorifying God. And he fell upon his face at his feet, giving thanks to him. and he was a Samaritan. And Jesus answering said, were not the 10 cleansed, and the 9, where are they? There were not found who did turn back to give glory to God except for this foreigner. So only 1 out of the 10 did what should be done. The rest didn't. They just selfishly took blessings and walked away. And then Jesus said to him, having risen, be going on, thy faith has saved thee. And having been questioned by the Pharisees when the reign of God does come, he answered them and said, the reign of God does not come with observation, nor shall they say, lo here, or lo there, for lo, the reign of God is within you. Little cryptic verse, but let's continue. And he said unto his disciples, days will come when ye shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and ye shall not behold it. And they shall say to you, lo here, or lo there, ye may not go away nor follow. For as the lightning that is lightning out of the one part under the heaven, so to the other part under heaven does shine, so shall also be the Son of Man in his day. It's going to be sudden like lightning. And first it behooveth him to suffer many things and to be rejected by this generation. And as it came to pass in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man, when they're eating, they're drinking, they're marrying, they're giving in marriage, till the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the deluge came and destroyed all. In like manner also, as it came to pass in the days of Lot, they were eating, they were drinking, they were buying, they were selling, they were planting, they were building. And on the day Lot went forth from Sodom, he rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed all. According to these things it shall be in the day the Son of Man is revealed. And all this will occur suddenly like lightning. In that day, he who shall be on the housetop and his vessels in the house, let him not come down to take them away. And he in the field in like manner, let him not turn backward. Remember the wife of Lot. Lot's wife looked back at the destruction that came suddenly upon Sodom, right? And she perished for it. Whoever may seek to save his life shall lose it, and whoever may lose it shall preserve it. I say to you, in that night there shall be 2 men on one couch. The one shall be taken, the other shall be left. 2 women shall be grinding at the same place together. The one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. 2 men shall be in the field. The one shall be taken, and the other left. And they answering said to him, where, sir? And he said to them, where the body is, there will the eagles be gathered together. The eagles represent the messengers who will be coming to gather us. Jesus comes with all his messengers, the legions of God, and he sends them out to the 4 corners to gather and take up the people. So now I'm going to throw in these last few verses. Like I said, all these UFOs appearing around the world, I've talked about that heavily, but I want to make sure I get the verses out in case I get interrupted by somebody coming on. So in Mark 13:24, Jesus said, but in those days after that tribulation that he just described in the prior verses of Mark 13, but in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of the heaven, which represent the messengers, the stars of the heaven shall be falling, and the powers that are in the heavens shall be shaken. And we know that stars don't fall. They're suns. They're fixed in space. They don't fall. It's not talking about shooting stars. It could be an allusion to meteors, possibly, yes. But stars in the Bible is literally used as a metaphor for messengers. There's numerous verses that talk about this. I've got it in my books. So the stars of the heaven shall be falling. But right now we see a lot of what look like stars. They're UFOs. They look just like stars, parked all over different countries and cities around the world. Okay? And they've been doing this for the last few weeks, and it's continued today in many more places. Right? So the stars of the heaven shall be falling, and the powers that are in the heavens shall be shaken. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming in clouds with much power and glory. We know that this is going to be like lightning and sudden. So we're going to see, Jesus said, after the tribulation, so the final years of tribulations, you're going to see the stars of the heaven falling, and then you're going to have that sudden, like lightning, arrival of the Son of Man. And he says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in clouds with much power and glory. Then he shall send his messengers and gather together as chosen from the 4 winds, from the end of the earth unto the end of heaven. And from the fig tree learn ye the simile. When the branch may already become tender and may put forth the leaves, ye know that nigh is the summer. So ye also with these, when you may see coming to pass, you know that it is nigh at the doors. 2 conditions. Number 1, Israel had to be reborn. That's a fig tree putting forth new shoots, based on the biblical uses of those terms and those words and terms. Israel was born in 1948, key date in all the prophecies. In Daniel's prophecy, the 1260 years takes you up to 1948. Then you got 1 generation left. The final generation that ends the 75th year is the 1335th year, 2024. Okay, so it's not just when you see Israel reborn, that year that Israel historically was reborn is tied to all the end days prophecies that pinpoint 2024, right? So not only does he reference the year Israel was reborn, signifying this final generation, but also the stars falling from the heavens, okay, descending down from the heavens. Now next, he says it's nigh at the doors. Then in Acts 2:19, we have quoting from Joel, it says, and I will give wonders in the heaven above. Wonders, signs, depending on your translation, in the heaven above, and signs upon the earth beneath. Now, I've lived multiple decades on this earth. And like I said, growing up for the first few decades of my life, people didn't see UFOs. There were a few terrible, crappy black and white, most of them pictures from the 50s or 60s, and they looked like plates. UFOs are very rare. You could count the number of good UFO videos on like one or two hands. In the last few years, everybody is getting footage of UFOs. In the last few weeks, they're appearing over the Capitol. They're landing at airports, all sorts of things everywhere. The average person is seeing UFOs and recording them. Okay? Wonders in the heaven above, stars coming down, Israel's been reborn, it's imminent. I don't know how many more, I mean, there must be dozens of different videos where UFOs are coming down and just hovering over countries and cities in prominent places, and people are watching them, exclaiming like, oh my gosh, it's a UFO, look what it's doing, and this and that there. Great footage of them, spectacular looking, multiple colors, doing things, moving around, right? So based on all the verses, it is very well nigh. Okay, I might even delete the video that I put up yesterday saying that I don't think it will happen in 2024 anymore. We have all the reason to believe it. Like I've been saying, all these prophecies pinpoint 2024. It's probably too late to get the book now, right? All the prophecies pinpoint 2024. I preached it since 2016, warning everybody for 8 years in faith, taking all the mockery that I got. I waited for 2023. In 2023, the nations that Ezekiel named started a war against Israel, which continued into 2024, fulfilling Ezekiel's prophecy. And the only remaining thing left to happen, according to Ezekiel's prophecy, is they would attack Jerusalem, and then God arrives. God arrives when they attack Jerusalem. So we're literally just one snap away from God arriving. Okay? Then you combine this with all these other verses here. We can clearly see that it is extremely imminent. It could happen any moment, any day, any week, any month. It's going to be imminent. Okay? How many more UFOs? We don't know what's in them. I mean, everybody, they'll hear me say UFOs. Oh, you're just some crazy person. Aliens, little green men. Aliens are demons, everybody says. Right? I don't have time to preach on all this. The Bible says in Genesis that God created the heavens and the earth. He stretched out the heavens, filled it with life. The life in the heavens is called the host of the heavens. They are the messengers. They serve God. They stand on his right side, and they work for God. Okay? They intercede with earth. The bad messengers were cast out of heaven with Satan and bound to this earth 2,000 years ago with Jesus. Okay? In the time of Jesus. So all those Christians saying that, oh, UFOs, they're demons, they don't know what they're talking about. Those Christians are going to be the ones demonizing the angels coming to redeem them. Okay? So how many more UFOs do people need to see appearing around the world? Like I said, never happened in my lifetime before. How many more UFOs do you need to see before it starts rustling your feathers and making you think? How many more? I mean, it's already been dozens, if not more. Right? Maybe even 100 UFOs have been caught on footage just in the last week or two around the world, making themselves visible and seen to the public. Not to one random person in the bush in the forest somewhere. No, to the public. How many more UFOs do we need to see before you start scratching your head and realizing something is about to happen? The other ironic, maybe unconnected thing is that this web bot created by this guy many years ago, back in the 90s or the early 2000s, in the 90s, yes, which predicted a lot of other historical events, a few or whatever. I didn't pay much mind to this. The web bot predicted that December 3rd or 4th this year, that there would be a great UFO battle above the earth. I had a dream a couple weeks ago. I've had a few alien UFO dreams in the last few weeks, but I had one prominent one where there were motherships coming down and extraterrestrials coming down. Okay? We combine all these details together. Also, in many videos, I've been seeing people commenting saying, I've had dreams, that they've had dreams, of UFOs arriving to the earth. So I've seen it myself. A lot of people are saying that they've had dreams about this, right? So you got people testifying they're getting warnings in dreams. I had one of them, right? You've got UFOs physically appearing around the earth, wanting to be seen. Okay, they're not attacking us, right? They're making their presence known. They're building up for something. Like I've always said in one of the chapters of my book here, the prophecy from First Enoch says that, as I explain in better detail in the chapter, 4,900-year prophecy, which ended in 1948. I don't have time to get into the detail of it, but it's quite astounding. What happens during the 4,900 years? So that is when the fallen angels, the fallen messengers, the bad ones, are imprisoned under the earth. In 1948, their prison sentence ended. What happened in 1948? UFOs started appearing around the world, Roswell, so forth. These were the fallen messengers being released, coming out, and going around doing their thing. At this time, other messengers, the good ones, also arrived. Okay? This is the final generation, the year Israel was reborn. So the good and the bad messengers have been getting ready in this last generation. And now they're all arriving around the world. It is only a matter of time before all of this comes true. Because if the end of days is coming, and Jesus is coming with his legions of the heavens, he's probably got a lot of them here ready, posting out, staking out, getting ready. Okay? So I don't say I didn't warn you all. It could very well be imminent, and everybody better reform. So, and the other thing I want to add into this is that when I had my experience with God 18 years ago, I had no clue when the end of days was coming, not whatsoever. It took me 15 years from that point to solve the prophecy of Daniel, which is just one of the 7 prophecies in this book. And during my meeting with God, he never told me when the end of days would come, but I have it written down many times where he said that it is coming, but he didn't say when. And God never told me that I would do theological work and write a systematic theology. He never told me any of that. He just told me that the end of days is coming. Okay, I've got to get going now because someone's coming home. But it's all come true now. So anyways, take care, folks.